Well, I'm at the dump station doing my final duties before I leave Lake Chicot State Park. It was a nice day. I was kind of questionable because of the amount of mosquitoes that were at the campsite, but our neighbor sprayed all around and it wasn't that bad. We ended up having catfish dinner at the place, at the pavilion here at the state park. It was nice, screened in pavilion. Still a little more adventure to go, so we're leaving now and heading to a very special place. That way. Just off of Highway 165, that's US Highway 165, is Jerome, Arkansas, which in 1942, right after World War II started, Franklin Roosevelt signed an executive order to put Japanese American citizens into internment camps, which were basically holding camps that were built right out here, housing, shelters, bathhouses, a community that was overseen by the United States Army, and they lived here until 1944, 2 years. There's multiple sites around the United States, but this is a marker for this one here. There were 2 sites in Arkansas. This is only one of them. There's not any more of the site left, but this was the location. That's somebody's house and farm. But the Japanese and American Citizen League has put this out here, and this farmer's allowed it. And it's just right here off of Highway 165 in Jerome, Arkansas. So I've made it to the town of McGehee, and I am in the downtown area. There is a caboose and a gazebo. Not really the town square, but you know, every town needs a gazebo. But I am at the old train station right here, and it is the museum for the Japanese relocation camps. It's not open, but I'm gonna go peek inside. Had to wipe a little bit off of the screen because it got a little foggy, but this is your typical train station right here. Train tracks are right there, and they still have trains going. Magnolia tree, but it is the Jerome Rohwer Interpretive Museum and Visitor Center. Historic site, man. And it's closed. It would be $5 per person over the age of 12. It's on this side of the train station. Memorial Cemetery. Huh. I guess there's a cemetery over there. Just the backside. And there's even a train over there. So on the backside of that, it doesn't say man, it says map. And it has a map of the downtown area with attractions and sites to be seen right here. It does look like this is a museum for the train station. It would have been cool to go in there. But that's what you get for going on a Sunday. Following these bricks into this rose garden is a stool that has people's names on it. This I don't know why or who these people are, but they're memorialized here at the train station. Sure do miss cabooses. There was always that guy on the back and he would wave at you. This is a little bit of the downtown. Small bit. We've now made it to the Rohwer Relocation Center, and this has a little marker here. This one is actually the one where George Takei from Star Trek was relocated to, and the site is right down this road. And here's a map of the area. So this is the memorial for the National Historic Landmark, and they have a memorial here with some graves, and there's a little bit of the site still left. This is a memorial to the Japanese
is the cemetery that was established for the camp.
that fought
Along this road right
for
here
the
are interpretation
United States.
signs that give a little bit more history about it. So, okay, so this is my question, and I just haven't run across this, and this may sound very silly. So there's Holocaust deniers. Are there people that deny Japanese American?
No, I haven't heard that either. I mean, my gut instinct is there's gotta be.
Like Japanese American internment camp deniers, people that deny that this has happened.
Oh, so you know, like.
This cemetery was installed while they were here, as with these memorials there and here. This doesn't represent everyone that died here because some were Buddhist and were sent off to be cremated. But this cemetery with where these posts are is a historical protected area and will remain here. So this internment camp stretched between here and on the other side of the woods there. The hospital was located over here. So it was Army style barracks that would have housing units on both sides, and then mess halls, different things where they could have things. They weren't necessarily prisoners, but they weren't free either. That's a 1942. But ASU has put in these audio information boards. So let's check and see if it works. Doesn't work. The audio they're about to replace the signs, and the audio is done by George Takei. They're going to put new signs out here with a QR code that you can scan, and it takes you directly to the audio file, and you can listen to the stories and information. And it's funny because they were supposed to replace these on Thursday, but it had bad weather and stuff this week, so wasn't able to do it. But they're getting ready to install these new signs. Well, here's one right here, a brand new sign with the QR code. So they're taking out the old and replacing it with these new ones. Those don't work. And so it takes me down here to the very last one. And all of this is privately owned land, and it's farmed. Soybeans right there being grown. This area right here is all owned by a lady that in McGehee, and she has deeded it over. Well, she will have deeded it over to the county after she passes, and that will keep this thing going. So the director of this is she's here, and she said that when they put these information markers in, she said it right here, unknowing. She said this is just a good because it aligns with this smokestack right there, and that smokestack is where the hospital was located, and everywhere in between here were barracks. So when George Takei came and did his audio tour and recorded, he came and stood right here, and he said, "This is exactly where my family's barracks were, and I lived right here." So George Takei lived right here during 1942 to 44. Now it's basically just farmland. Kind of reminds me of going out to see where the music died in Iowa, where Buddy Holly, of course George Takei's alive, but rain gauge. And now we made it to the Taylor house, which is a plantation, and there is a tour that we're about to take. This is all a part of the crashing of the family reunion. They're just kind of a
I'm beginning to feel like we're family.
I know, that's right.
Dr. John, he was the Dr. John Taylor was the patriarch of the family, as we mentioned. Came here from Kentucky, and
We're actually going to get to enter this house before it's open to the public.
it's what everybody asks. It's really one of my favorite things about the place. And
Where was it found?
it was here when it was given to us.
Baby.
I've questioned it myself too.
So
That's one that
dog trot to the house, that was the front door.
Sorry.
Now this would have been post-war.
The cistern is located there. This is the dining room.
large room in here, we're hoping to put up some shelving with some of the artifacts that we found. There's a copy of this one. Also living history as well.
Bell platform.
One day we'll have it, but you know, that's also a work in progress.
Not going to be open for a month. This is the first look at the visitor center, and this is the house as it stood back in the day. We're basically right there where the visitor center is, the Bell platform. Well, we've made it to the Arkansas Post State Park, and I am going to go in and check this place out. So upon coming in, this is the museum. Arkansas Post is basically down this dirt road and further on down, but we're going to go through this. We have a couple houses and an exhibit room and some gallows. So we're going to check it out. And a well. There's a well. Wishing well. So it's basically a self-guided tour, and got our passport stamp right here. Huh. Yeah, right there. We just make our way in here. Some state pins. Relics of the past. In a nice air-conditioned room. That's pretty cool. Socks before they came monkeys. 1963 nightgown. Look at the little fire girl slippers. Wedding dress. And bride's pantaloons and camisole. Here's a safe, which is turned into a donation box with topped with some snapdragons or cotton, or is that pussy willow? Some era furniture. One thing I've really noticed about the furniture in these days is everyone were very squatty. They had short furniture. The chairs, even this table, very short. There's a bell. No clacker. Dang it. Gallows. Why a separate kitchen, you say? Because they run a fire all day. But they didn't have air conditioning like there is right there. There's a more modern type stove. An ice box. That's where the work was done, right there. Some people call me that. Back in 1913, they replaced the gallows with the electric chair. So they would bring the fellow up here, or lady, put them upon this dropping chute, tie a rope around their neck to the hook above, and then pull the lever, and it would drop out, and they would fall and dangle until their death. Creepy. Now entering the John L. Peterson building. seeing the exhibits they have here, along with some military attire for both men and women. A dugout canoe with pelts. And a whole host of other exhibits. There's a whole host of documents from war to individual people, government citations. Pretty interesting. Originals. And copies. Lots of pictures of Gillette during the flooding of 1927. Pretty interesting. Cool pics. Ooh, look. A threshing crew. Ooh, somebody's been making hooch in their steel. Lots of different plowing and farming mechanisms. This is a nice looking wagon. This is an actual playhouse built for Harriet Jane Carnes Bonner by her parents, Arkansas State Representative Grover Carnes and Bertie Carnes. It was furnished with all the toys. This. A real playhouse. You live in this thing. It even comes with a screened-in porch and porch swing. Nothing like a case full of creepy dolls. What was the Arkansas Post? In 1686, the French Canadians established a post on the Arkansas River, some 20 miles by water from its confluence with the Mississippi. The Post Arkansas small settlement would be the first significant European settlement in Arkansas. The post started out as a trading post, but would grow and shrink as war, changes in the river pass, and political embed, and flowed much like the mighty Mississippi. There is a crucifix, a key, a cannonball, a post. These are artifacts from the Toltec Mound right there. And that's a red bowl found at Walnut Knoll. And different types of beads and arrowheads. Here's a bust of Gilbert Collier, who won a Medal of Honor for his actions saving a life of a comrade during the Korean War. There he is. He was only 23 years old when he died. So here's the cabin, built around 1877 near Hinman Bayou on the Billy Troe farm. It was these people's cabin. Happy group. The cabin was not built here, but it was moved here in 1936. It has this breezy little dog trot. Kind of looks like the style of house that we were in just earlier, but it doesn't have a upstairs. Lots of household furnishings. stove for heat. I gotta say, for some reason, it's always cool in the middle of the dog trot. There's a bed and a fireplace, a wardrobe. Who knows what all really was in these houses? Could have been this, could have been something else. So this is going to be the dirt road that we take. Well, that's not even dirt. It looks like dirt. The red road down to Arkansas Post. Like I say, this is just the museum. There's a historical marker right there. We'll check that out in just a second. But in front of the cabin is a raised flower bed growing area and a building that looks like it could have a potty inside, but who knows? It's locked. And that's screwed shut. Last look at the cabin before we go right over there. So this placard is here to memorialize the Battle of Arkansas Post. In 1863, John McClellan and Admiral David Porter led 30,000 men up the Arkansas River to confront General Churchill's 5,000 Confederates at Arkansas Post. The gunboats bombarded Fort Hindman, and both Army and Navy attacked January 11th, forcing the Confederates to surrender. The Confederates, Arkansas lost 1/4 of its fighting men. Union ships would suffer less interference in operations against Vicksburg following the defeat of the garrison at Arkansas Post. So basically, that had to have been down here where we're going, Arkansas Post. This is just here on the highway. In Gillette, the pictures from earlier, 5 miles that way. We'll drive through, but maybe not show you. All right, we're at the Arkansas Post National Memorial through the National Park Service. Going in. Well, the parks person greeted us and showed us around a lot, so we're just gonna mosey through and check out some of the exhibits. She did mention to me something that I didn't know, but that Arkansas had one of only 2 Revolutionary War skirmishes, and it was here at Arkansas Post. Fur trapping and trading were a big commodity back in the day. Raccoon, buffalo. Number 1, probably was not the skunk, was beaver. And if I can find one, I think that's one right there, a beaver pelt. Oh yeah, soft. Coyote. An aerial view of Arkansas Post. There were 3 Arkansas Posts, and we are currently at location number 2. Location number 3 was washed away by the Arkansas River. Here are some artifacts that have been found here over the time. Native American, French, German pottery. Here is a cannon that is representing the Revolutionary War skirmish that was fought here in 1783, known as the Colbert Raid. So this is about a 3/4 of a mile concrete walking path that will take us to where the actual Arkansas Post city was, town, post, right over there. And we are on the banks of the Post Bayou right here. So this is kind of the idea of what we'll be looking at. They kind of have what would be streets here, which is the paved areas we'll be walking on. But the bank and cotton gin, warehouse and store, and then the first office of the Arkansas Gazette, which that building has been moved to Little Rock. And we're gonna go walk out here. So this is basically the concrete we're walking on, represents these that we're walking on here. So this would be the fur trading factory. They have these little placards that show where things are all along the streets. We're coming up here to what is Main Street right here, the back end. So we're gonna take a little detour and do the River Overlook Trail. And just like that, we're at the Arkansas River right here. Right out there where that green buoy is. Arkansas River. Well, we made the loop. There's another cannon. And we're gonna head back into the visitor center and watch a video. Sorry for the abrupt ending to the National Park at Arkansas Post. It was a great place. I definitely say go visit there. I'm home, safe and sound. Thanks for watching. It was a great weekend. Saw lots of new things, explored new places, and met some awesome people. I advise to go out and seek out some adventures of your own. You don't have to go far. You can see something in your own town that you've never seen before, and I'm sure that is pretty awesome. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one very soon. Later.